that had happened before, but we feel good with Ruben.
There you go.
Pretty good.
That doesn't tell me they're going to take him, but that tells me that they've had the discussions internally and
it's not a concern.
They don't seem bothered.
Yeah, it's not a concern. Again, I thought if Ruben Bain had a history of reckless driving and 6, 7, 8 tickets and just a bad guy in the community, yeah. But I know he got a ticket last year, and and that unfortunate incident where somebody passed away. I get all that, and but the teams know it, and they're very cognizant of it, and they've known it for a while. And so somebody leaked this out and got out, and now all the teams know. We all know about it and everything. So if Borgonzi feels good about it and says that, he's regretful, he's remorseful, then move on.
Well, it's not. I agree with that. It's not just Borgonzi that needs to feel good about it. Amy Adams-Strunk has to be on board.
Yep.
Whether we like that or not. She is the owner, so she should be on board. There was another sequence of questions about him and Saleh, and if they disagreed on a player, would Borgonzi want to take a player, even though Saleh doesn't necessarily like him? You got that one? Play it.
Those healthy disagreements that I'm sure all teams have. If there was a player that you absolutely loved that Robert did not like, would that be hard for you to draft that player knowing that he's the one that has to coach him? Or is this where you being the personnel guy and being assigned the job of building the roster versus coaching the roster would take a precedence?
Yes, you would never take a player that a coach does not want. It's happened over the years. I've seen it. I've been in the league for a long time. That's how you develop friction in the organization. You need buy-in when you're taking these players. So whether it's a position coach or it's the head coach, that's why you have so many of these discussions, headed into the draft, and you never want to force a player onto a coach that they don't believe in.
God, that's a great answer.
Yep. Look, I think that is important. That they're, even if they're not necessarily on the same page on something, but that they have that agreement of hey, I'm not going to, if this is somebody you don't want, I'm not going to force you to coach them.
I love it.
That's important
because
because I kind of feel like, especially with Vrabel and Rand, that wasn't there.
Well, there's that rumor that when the Titans drafted Chris Henry in 2007, that they drafted him, and the scout, this is all rumor, and I've heard it from many different people, that they told Fisher, all right, we drafted him, now you coach him.
Yeah.
What? It's okay, I get that.
That's not how that works.
Right, and Chris Henry was an absolute disaster at a second-round pick for the Tennessee Titans in 2007.
So that would have been Mike Reinfeld's first year, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yep, because they took Michael Griffin first and took and then they got weird with Griffin, tried to make him a corner for during training camp, and he was a terrible corner. He was a great safety. But that was the thing, is I like hearing that they are in cahoots, they're together. Let's build this together. House divided could not stand. So I think I'll take that as something relevant that came out of the presser today. I like that.
Yeah, look, there were a few little nuggets in there that, him saying it's a deep draft for interior offensive linemen, which is good. Left tackle was discussed, and so I don't know. I think it's a kind of interesting to look at it a week out and see what they end up doing. I heard Jake and Parker discussing before our show, could they potentially go left tackle at 35, knowing that knowing that they're probably going to need that position in the next year or so. I would hope not.
Yeah, right.
I think you address that when you need to address it.
As long as the left tackle is not from Alabama, I'm good. Draft any offensive lineman as long as they're not from Alabama and go forward with all that. Who knows? We discussed yesterday about Jerry moving up, Titans moving back with 12, 20, and 35. I don't like that. I think the draft is top heavy. I think you're going to miss out on an amazing playmaker if you get back past maybe 8 or 9. So just stick where you are. Build who you are.
What if, this is a big what if, what if somebody calls him and says, or what if Jerry calls him and says, I'll give you 12 and 20 to take 4.
Okay.
Straight 12 and 20 to move up to 4.
Right.
And he's keeping 35. Maybe you give up a 4th or something, but like you're keeping your money picks to move up for Jerry to move up to 4.
Okay.
I think on the Jimmy Johnson chart, like the Titans would probably have to give a 3rd or something. But anyway, let's say he does that. Well, then who's to say he couldn't take 12 and maybe a pick from next year and potentially move back up into the top 10?
Sure.
We've seen that before.
Got to have a dance partner. You got to have to move up. But I think if you get out of the 8 or 9, you're going to lose out on a guy who comes in and can get immediate play time and can wreak some havoc for your team.
Like if Jerry doesn't take Love, like if Jerry were to move up to 4 and to not take Love, and he takes one of the pass rushers, because they do need that, and all of a sudden, I think the Giants would probably take him at 5 if he's there, but you could be kind of looking at, Bain's still there, or Love's still there, or Reese, or somebody, and call Cleveland, call New Orleans, because the thing is, if Love got to 8, he's going to be a Saint. Like he's going to the Saints.
Yeah, you're right.
But you could finagle some things and move back up, and even use 35 if you needed to, because you still have 20.
You do it. Jerry's going to take a running back. I'm telling you.
I think
the more we talk about Love and the more we say how great he's going to be, all these teams are salivating on him, and we're forgetting about the Cardinals at 3, who could also throw a huge hammer in the middle of all this and screw everything up. It's going to remember. I think they not lower the time from 10 minutes to 8 minutes.
They did.
All right.
They did, and he said he doesn't mind that actually.
Good. So if you're trying to work a deal, you got to be on that.
Well, you're working it right now.
You got to go immediately and see what you can get going. Because you come to draft night, it's like, oh, this guy fell, that guy fell. Hey, yeah, Mike, we talked about, I'll pass on that. I would be fascinated to be inside that draft room for everything that goes on next Thursday night. Fascinated.
I would love to. I mean, we talk about it. The movie Draft Day is pretty bad, but I think where they are correct is the amount of phone calls that are being made the morning of the draft, and the GMs talking to each other, and pancakes being eaten, and all those things.
How many times have you seen the movie Draft Day?
Like 3 times.
I've seen it about 40.
Yeah.
Every time it comes on, I watch it every single
I'm on
time.
such a Kevin Costner kick right now that I'll definitely watch it.
So it's good. And that's the thing is that, they have the live cams in there. My favorite moment was Vrabel storming off in 22 and they traded. God, that was 4 years ago now.
I noticed
4 years ago.
I noticed something on the Titans YouTube page. They have last year they put up the phone call that Borgonzi made to Cam, to let him know they were taking him. And from what I remember from last year, he handed the phone to Amy, and then Amy handed the phone to Callahan. The Callahan part's cut out.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, okay.
But I laughed at that.
I'd cut him out too, man.
615-737-1025 is their phone and text line. Driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. What is our question of the day?
Well, we don't have a lot of time to get into it today, so it's not so much a question of the day. It's what happened on this day 28 years ago in Nashville. That's the day that the tornado came right through downtown, leveled East Nashville. We had one death here in the city over at Centennial Park. One death is one too many. But it's hard to believe that tornado was 28 years ago today, right? And it went right through downtown. It went over to Nissan Stadium and knocked a bunch of cranes down over there. And it was a day – I was just starting at Channel 2. I was out in Hermitage when all that came through and all the tornado destroyed the trees out there. It was a day. The 2020 tornado was awful. It was awful. But the 1998 tornado was the first one I ever really got to be in, and that was quite scary. And it's crazy that only, again, one's too many. One person passed away. Because you go to East Nashville that afternoon, the next day, you're like, how did 100 people not die?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But if you were here, let us know what you thought of, where you were when that came through. Did you heed the warning sign? I don't think we knew something was coming. Nobody knew that was going to happen that day. What were you, 10 years old?
I was 10 years old. I was in the 4th grade. No, I was Yeah, I was about to turn 11, but I was in the 4th grade. I will tell you that day actually was very influential in my career choice.
Okay.
Because I'd already kind of shown interest that I wanted to be around a microphone or a camera or something. But watching Channel 5's coverage that day when they were knocked off the air,
Yeah.
and Chris Clark at the tower with like a microphone plugged into the tower, essentially,
Right? Yeah.
I was like, I want to do that one day because they're making a difference.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
They did whatever they needed to do to make sure people knew what was going on.
Yeah, that was a heck of a day, man. It was scary.
And
Cell
then-
phones weren't working.
And then like 25 years later, it almost happened again to them.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But-
So I just thought about some questions. If were you here? What do you remember about it? Where were you?
Yeah.
Again, the warnings that happened that day, because it happened fast, man. Right down Charlotte Pike, turned to downtown, down Broadway, and then took over to the river, East Nashville, and then it's almost the same path it took as the 2020 tornado. It's crazy, man.
Yep. 615-737-1025. That is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. We'll have more coming from Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel on this Thursday, 1025 The Game.
What sort of field do you have for Arizona and the Jets, and how important is it for you to have a pre-field, or at 4? Is it kind of irrelevant what they do? You're ready for any scenario?
Paul, I think we will be ready for any scenario. If you listen to everything that's out there now, though, it's a lot of smoke screens. So I think you do have to pay attention to it, right? But certainly, I think that we're going to have options there at 4, no matter what the team does in front of us.
This is Mike Borgonzi this morning, Titans general manager, discussing the draft. Not giving us a whole lot, but that's okay.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend, you and I do, and who knows Mike Borgonzi really well. This guy is a very, very good football knowledge IQ guy, and says that Borgonzi knows exactly what he is doing and how to build the team. So that's part of our excitement with you and me, is that the fact that, like, they finally got a competent GM in there who knows how to build this team, who knows how to build a team in the front office together and get it done. So I think if you're a Titans fan, you hear him today, he's got a clear plan. He's not going to tell you what it is, because he probably doesn't know what it is right now with different scenarios going on. I think he's the right guy to run this football team for a long time.
I agree. I mean, I think, and I mean, I referenced Floyd and our time together a lot this time of year. That I learned that he's like, you can't say too much, because you got 31 other teams that want to know your plan.
Sure.
And, he's told stories about, leaks and, getting rid of those. And so you got to be careful, and you got to keep the circle very close. Coach Fisher's talked about it, this time of year, you got to keep it very close to the vest. Now, I do think they have the luxury, if they stick and pick at 4, which right now my gut feeling is they do, that they have a chance. They have at least 4 guys that they are comfortable putting on this team at 4 and would be fine with any of them. That's the sense I get of trying to read the tea leaves and all of that. But, now, is there one they'd prefer over the other? Probably.
I just think on his table, he's got, all right, the Raiders are off, but there's a card that says, well, if the Raiders somehow don't take Mendoza, what do they do, right? The Jets are going to swallow up Mendoza second, right? And when he goes, all right, what happens?
So who would the Raiders take if they didn't take Mendoza?
That's the problem. And so you got to be
they'd probably take Love.
Right. You got to be prepared. Well, they already got Ashton Genty. I mean, they want another guy. I mean, 2 running backs like that. Yeah. Why not, right? It's Vegas. So you got to be prepared for that. And you got the Jets, right? So the Jets, you can do something. You got scenarios there. This player, I mean, so you got all these cards on. That's on one table. Then you got to go to the Cardinals table and figure out, all right, what are they going to do? Who's going to trade up with them? Could they stick and stay at 3? Are they going to entertain offers? So then you got all this whole table over here. Then you got your table, which plays off of what happens at 2 and 3 with the different trades that go on. I would be, with my ADHD, I'd be fast. I'd be such a good help inside that boardroom next Thursday night, figuring out who's going where and what's happening, this and that. I think it's fascinating. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Next Thursday night, we're sitting there like, what happens? All right, the Jets. I mean, I do not believe it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I just don't. Well, I just don't think it's going to happen.
By the way, our draft coverage next Thursday night at T-Line, it'll be us and D-Mace.
Nice.
That will be the draft show. So
I love it, buddy.
We're excited about that. I'm sure one of us will have a meltdown. So
I love punching him in the side too.
Yeah. I will say this, that I don't think this has been brought up yet. You talk about lion season and smoke screens and all those things. You know what one of the most perfect smoke screens is that nobody's brought up yet? The fact that the Tennessee Titans have like 5 running backs on their roster right now.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, 2, say what you want about them, 2 that could be starters. I mean, Pollard is a starter. Spears, I don't think is, but he could if needed. You have those 2 guys plus your backups that you've signed.
Yep.
They're all on the roster right now. So the smoke screen could be, well, why would they take a running back? Even though he is I think a generational talent.
Handshake, pat on the back, take care of yourself.
Yeah,
That's how
basically.
3 get
Right.
That's how you run 3 out of there.
All right.
No, you never know. I mean, look, you sign these guys. They could be the camp arm or the camp leg. It doesn't matter. You just keep signing because you might strike. What's it costing them to get 5 running these 3 extra guys? Nothing.
And look, in my opinion, if you did take Love at 4, you keep Pollard and Spears for a year because that gives you more weapons, and you're not just throwing a rookie in there too. Now, if you take Pollard at 4, and all of a sudden you got a team calling, hey, I'll give you my 3rd for Pollard, then
sure,
you take it.
Yeah, I just think that they're kind of the same. I want that 3rd running back to be an absolute bruiser.
Yeah.
Somebody,
I
not a guy who's 5'5" with no ACL.
Which that's the guy. Is that the bruiser guy? That's
Superman.
Right, but they signed the guy out of Arizona. Isn't he kind of a bigger?
I don't even know who that guy is.
Michael something. Adam in Portland wants to weigh in real quick. Adam, what you got?
Michael something.
Well, your 3rd running back needs to be able to make tackles on special teams. Just find
Yeah.
that. But the more I'm sitting here listening to you guys, the more I'm convinced we need to trade out. Like, I think the best teams don't get blinded by sparkly players at the top of the draft, man. Like, you find a way to get deep. Like, our team is not very deep. We got deeper during free agency, but you got to find a way to get back to like 8, 10, 12, something like that, pick up more assets. I just am not convinced the draft, even if he's a great running back, I'm not convinced he should be the pick, man. I think we need more picks.
Okay, Adam, don't hang up yet because all right. I hear you. I hear you. But how many players does this team currently have on its roster that would scare another team? The answer is really one. The respect, and that's Jeffrey Simmons. You hope Cam Ward becomes that, but I do believe if you stick and pick at 4, you could get a guy that another team is going to have to show respect towards. And that's the whole reason why I say if one of the guys on your board that you believe can be a franchise changer for you is there, you take it, and then you figure the rest out later.
I don't think Love lands at 4. I think he's gone.
You may be right.
I think he's gone, and I'm going to be disappointed.
And if he's gone, then you trade back.
How far?
All
your guys are gone. After 8 or 9, you're done.
Okay, well, if Bain's still there, then I might consider, 7, 8, somewhere in there.
Then you got to willing that the Saints or one of those will move up to get those. And
sure.
If Bain's there at 5, you got. I know Abdul Carter was.
There's going to be
Bain and Abdul Carter at the ends rushing in for the Giants would be fantastic. I just don't think he's going to be there. And I'm going to say, and I know I tell you all the time, don't suffer imagined troubles, but I think Love is gone, man.
Adam in Portland did say that's fair, Chase, but I'm just worried about this team being able to make tackles to stop people from running down their throats, and that's not a one-man job. We need a lot of players to trade back. That's a fair point. We will continue the draft discussion throughout the show, but coming up next, there is a big event coming to Geodis Park this weekend that we want to tell you about on Sunday, April 19th, and that is the Guinness Music City Rugby Showdown. The first ever Major League Rugby match in Tennessee will be at Geodis Park coming up this weekend. 2 of the league's top teams, the Chicago Hounds and the 3-time defending champion New England Free Jacks. We will talk to Jason Higgins. He's one of the players. We'll talk to him coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game. Joe 1025, the game on this Thursday. We're live at Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel. This is an event we've been excited about. We've been telling you about it, the Guinness Music City Rugby Showdown. It is the first ever Major League Rugby match in Tennessee. It's going to be at Geodis Park coming up this weekend, April 19th, featuring two of the league's top teams, the Chicago Hounds and the three-time defending champion New England Free Jacks. And to talk more about that, we decided let's bring on a player. Jason Higgins of the Chicago Hounds is with us now. Now, what position do you play?
So I play scrum half.
Okay, what is that?
What is that?
Look, I'm just going to give you full disclosure. We don't know anything about rugby. This is a learning experience for all of us.
So the scrum half is like the link between the big guys, the forwards, so like the O-line, and the fast guys, the backs.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a playmaker.
All right.
He's a decision maker, passing, kicking.
So you're trying to get the ball to somebody that can get it.
Exactly, to move the ball around. And,
yeah.
You move the ball.
Now, the big guys are the crazy ones, right?
They're the ones who just go hammer and tongs and carry the ball hard, smash each other,
So do you block when you pass the ball back? I'm so fascinated by you guys.
The ball can only go backwards.
Okay.
You can run forwards, and you can't block players now. You can't. There's no blocking.
You just stand in front of them? I mean, how do you...
Well, if you get tackled...
with the ball?
With the ball, two of your guys are allowed to come in over you and smash the other two guys back. Because they're trying to get the ball too, So
this is great.
It's kind of chaos, yeah.
And the ball is pretty much always live, right?
It's always like that's the thing. The ball is all we kick it out of play, but the ball can be in play for like 5-6 minutes. Like it's tough cardiovascularly. Like
so, if someone that's going this weekend or is listening to this right now, it's like, hey, this sounds interesting, and has never seen a rugby match before in their life. What are the simple things that they need to know?
The ball can only go backwards. Well, it's like football in the sense, just without the pads. The physicality is the same. It's incredibly physical.
Like a little soccer mixed in too, I guess.
I suppose, like footwork and evasion and like a bit of wrestling in there too. But it's wall-to-wall entertainment, to be honest,
So you're from Ireland.
Yes.
What made you decide to play rugby?
Just growing up, my granddad played it, my dad played it. It's huge in Ireland. So you either play Gaelic football, which is like the local indigenous sport, soccer or rugby.
Yeah.
And rugby just I was better at that than the others. So I just kind of kept going and got me here to Nashville, which is kind of crazy,
Yeah, and on this great show too.
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
Jason Higgins is with us. All right. So when you get the rugby ball, how many people you have to have a certain number of men on the line?
No, it's up to, it's 15 on 15. So ideally, you want as many people in the defensive line as possible. And you want as many people in the attacking line, But you're trying to manipulate them, move them out of position. And, if you can carry straight through them, do that.
Right.
If you're big and strong enough to blow someone up, just do that.
So you get the ball, you toss it back, and you can still go. We get the ball, you're going to go forward, right? The whole point is to go forward.
You're trying to get over into the end zone.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, to try to get into that zone.
Do you ever carry the ball?
Rarely, to be honest, but you have to, So you're trying to manipulate space and find ways to either you get them around the edge,
right,
or you go through them, or you kick over them and chase it. Like there's quite a number of ways to advance forward.
I love this.
Yeah, like it's quite tactical.
You ever out there and they throw you the ball, you're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I just look for the big guy. There you go.
Do that.
See this crazy guy
right.
down.
But there's no I don't block him to give you a way around. Can I stand in front of this guy?
No, you got to find your way around him, like with footwork or a pass or running lines. You're trying to manipulate space.
Wow.
Out there, So
is there any type of offsides or anything in rugby?
Yeah, there is offsides.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you can't be ahead of the ball. You can't forward pass. Like obviously that's a penalty. If you drop the ball, it's obviously a turnover to the other team. And then we have a scrum. So you know what a scrum is? Have you heard of scrum?
I've heard it. That's where you're all
trying to.
That's
like the scrimmage. That's like the O-line, D-line, like going on.
Yeah.
It's the two big guys of each team just contesting for a ball that's rolled in between them, and they just go at it.
Can you sneak in and get the ball and take off? If the big guys are all fighting each other?
Technically, yeah.
If it comes rolling out.
But then the other guys, the back line, they're pretty tuned into that, so they're kind
of. So how long do you have quarters? You have halves? What do we have here?
2 halves, 40-minute halves, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's similar to soccer.
Exactly. Yeah. You get 45-minute halves. Yeah. The ball's in play quite a bit.
So I've seen rugby, like college rugby, team rugby. Tell me why I need to come Sunday to see this, because you guys are the top of the top, right?
Well, it's becoming one of the biggest games in the MLR, the Hounds against the Free Jacks, because the last 2 years we've lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to Boston. and they're 3-time reigning champs now, which is kind of hard to say, but yeah,
Right.
they're pretty good. We're undefeated so far this season.
Now, is the Boston coach having an affair with a writer? I'm just curious. Don't answer that. Dr. Crane, you got a question, buddy?
No comment.
I do have a question. Jason, when it comes to advancing the ball, you're talking about strategy. How much do you guys involve like the grubber kicks and bomber kicks? Because I'm a big just rugby fan in general, so I follow rugby league, rugby sevens, and a little bit of rugby union. But how much is that involved with MLR?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, like the kicking game in rugby in the last 5 years has become more and more important because you almost don't want the ball in certain areas of the pitch. So by kicking it, giving it, advancing up the pitch and hoping to enforce an error from the other team, that's one way of doing it, is just kicking the ball down there. And I mean, if you can hang it up in the air like a box kick, then you're giving your guys, a box kick is like just a big high kick. It's hanging in the air for like 6 seconds. Everyone can advance. When the guy catches it, he gets nailed. And then you try to turn over the ball. I mean, yeah, so kicking has become very, very important. And grubber kicks too. I mean, finding space. Where rugby have introduced laws too, new rules to encourage that kind of stuff. So 50-22. So if you kick it in your own half behind the 50-meter line and it goes out in their 22-meter line, you get the ball back, even though you kicked it out.
Oh, wow.
So it's huge. Kicking's become massive.
So how many years have you played pro?
Pro, I suppose 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I started when I was like 6, but pro, yeah.
So where were you before Chicago?
Well, I was in San Diego for 2 years,
Okay.
and then I was in Toronto, and then I was back home in Cork with the local kind of teams there, Munster and stuff, and then just in college and stuff.
So you've been Major League Rugby for
6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I've seen it grow massively over the last 6 years. Like it's turned into a serious league. Yeah,
I think it's great. You guys at Geodis Park on Sunday. I know a lot of people that are going to this on Sunday. What equipment do you have? You have a cup, obviously.
No.
No?
No.
I'm out. You guys have no, really?
No cups. No.
Okay,
Not
shoulder
very
pads or any kind of.
Some guys wear like small foam pads, but like rarely. So it's a gum shield and a pair of boots. That's it. I swear to God.
This is
That
great.
is amazing.
Yeah. Your body kind of learns how to deal with it in a sense.
Right.
You can kind of wear contact better.
What's the worst injury, Jace, you've had?
I've been okay. I haven't been too bad. Like high ankle sprains and
Okay.
that kind of thing. I know guys who've had some ACLs and MCLs and everything.
Well, I'm told concussions in rugby are almost nil because you learn not to lead with your head.
Oh yeah, like tackling technique is massive to avoid that kind of head contact stuff. And where rugby have kind of really clamped down on, trying to be safer around, you can't tackle above here. Like,
right.
You got to keep it all low. And you're taught how to tackle from a very young age. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Right?
Again, coming up this Sunday at Geodis Park, it is the Guinness Music City Rugby Showdown between the Skipjacks and the Hounds. And right now, we have a pair of VIP tickets in the Premier Club.
What's that number?
To give away. All-inclusive tickets with food and drinks, a meet and greet with the players, post-game, and a fast pass for Broadway bars included in the ticket package. 615-737-1025. Caller number 5.
What's your number?
Oh, yeah. What is your number?
9.
Caller number 9.
Caller number 9.
615-737-1025. And Dr. Crane will hook you up with those tickets.
You guys got practice today?
No, not today.
How often do you practice?
It's twice a day, like 4 times a week, and then match day. And some of those practices are just like weights in the gym or kind of light, just kind of walk around technical stuff. But yeah.
So like
they're 2 hard sessions. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like hitting each other?
Oh yeah, early on in the week, yeah. You have to just prepare your body for the weekend, but not too much where you're hurting for the weekend.
Yeah. I need to know where you guys are hanging out this weekend because I'm not getting to a bar fight with you guys. None of y'all.
No, I would.
All right, I'm good.
I think Old Red is the
okay.
bar this
We'll
weekend.
avoid Old Red
Yes,
then. All right.
Now they're all great lads. We enjoy a good time.
Oh man, how much fun do you have? I mean, this is. I mean, you're beaming talking about it. Obviously.
No, it's amazing. I love it. Yeah, it's all the experiences you get all over the world and the people you get to meet and the stories you have. Like it's special. Yeah, it's a special game. Yeah.
So, have you ever had many dealings with the commissioner of Major League Rugby?
No.
Okay, that's probably good.
Yes.
Well, during doing this, I remembered my cousin I was like, I think he did something with Major League Rugby. He was the commissioner until 2023, and then he stepped down, and now he's with pickleball or something. But I was like, what a small world.
It is. The rugby world is a small world. Very small.
Oh, your cousin was the commissioner of this league?
Yes.
Does he know him?
No. Well, he just said he hadn't
No.
dealt with
Oh.
him. Yeah. No, he worked for the Mavericks for a long time and then went to Major League Rugby.
Now I'm fascinated by you and Jason.
I know.
What's going on
I
the show
know.
today?
I know. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're excited to have you all here, and thank you for coming by. But stay safe. Good luck.
Yes, thank you.
We'll
Appreciate it.
go
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
ironically, I'm going to Chicago here soon. But thanks so much for doing this, Jason. We appreciate it.
Appreciate your time too. Thank
Jason Higgins, again, this weekend, the Guinness Music City Rugby Showdown, Geodis Park. It's this Sunday, and we gave away those tickets very, very fast. But check it out at Geodis Park this weekend. We'll have more coming here from Bar Lines on 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, where we are broadcasting from today at Bar Lines. Wanted to mention our question of the day presented by Aries Tactical. Your safety, your skill, your Aries Tactical. Just check them out at ariestactical.com. And our question of the day, 28 years ago, the tornado hit downtown. This was the 1998 tornado. Unfortunately, another one came through in 2020. Went through East Nashville, hit the stadium that was being built at the time. That's the crazy thing to think about. They were building old Nissan Stadium. Now they're building new Nissan Stadium 28 years later.
Yeah.
But it got hit. It delayed it, not by a lot, but a couple of months.
It did. And think about that. 20 years ago, Oilers had not played here. They played their season in Memphis in 97. Yep. The Preds had not played a single game. So you're talking April of 1998. And think of all that's happened and changed in that time. You're now on to, you got a team that went to the Super Bowl. You got a team that went to the Stanley Cup final. You're now on their second stadium that's being built over there. So it's crazy how fast time flies. But that one afternoon, that one instant when Nashville was shut down and before we knew all that went on, and it was just a crazy day, man. And again, one person passed away at Centennial Park. That's one too many. But the devastation and destruction, even Cornelia Fort Airport was destroyed. Planes were ripped up over there.
Where is that?
East Nashville, right by the river.
So does that not exist anymore?
It's Greenway. They do concerts down there, but the hangars are still there. But it ripped off a bunch of planes.
But the airport no longer operates.
Correct.
Because of the tornado?
I think it had a lot to do with, we're not going to put a lot of money in there.
Yeah.
I remember going over there, and we got there late. Remember the Opry guy, Mike Snyder?
Yeah.
His plane got flipped up and destroyed over there. And that afternoon, Mike Snyder lost his country accent. He was more like Red Fox that day. He was because, look, the tornado, nobody knew this was going to happen. Your tornado comes through. Your plane is destroyed. These hangars are destroyed. You don't know what's going on. Power's out all across town. And then, the TV, I was at Channel 2 at the time, and I was in Hermitage. It comes through out there, and it narrowly missed the Hermitage, home of President Andrew Jackson. And I think they took those trees. They got 99 me guitars out of them. They did something useful for them, but it was it's crazy, man. 28 years ago today, that happened.
615-737-1025. You have me fascinated about this airport now. I didn't know this place existed.
It's great. Take the little boy down there for a walk one afternoon. It's really, really nice. It's around the river.
Little boy is a dog. Let's just make that.
He's a good boy, though.
He's a good boy. You said something like that one day, and I got a lot of phone calls.
But it's I don't know when it started, Cornelia Fort Airport. I don't know when the beginning of that was, but yeah, so now it's like a greenway down there.
It was open, according to the Wikipedia, 1944 until 2011.
Okay. So it stayed up another 13 years. Maybe the flood got to it as well in 2010.
So it's literally, yeah. Oh, wow. So Shelby Park. That's such a cool picture of, the runway.
And I think Cornelia Fort, if the bio's there,
yep,
she was a female pilot and then engaged the Japanese at Pearl Harbor.
Correct.
On that day.
She was let's see. She was killed. I just had it. It was named in honor of Nashvilleian Cornelia Fort, first female pilot to be killed on war duty in American history. So,
a lot of history over there. Should go down there and look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The flood did have a lot to do with it. So, closing it. But, interesting. A lot of history there.
Yeah, you got to drive way back into East Nashville to get down in there. And then literally right across the river is Opry Mills and Opryland. Right there.
Oh, Robbie Stanley did a video of it a few months ago that he just shared with me on YouTube.
What's Robbie Stanley doing out there?
I'm just hanging around.
And that's it? Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, now I got to go check this out.
Okay, there you go.
Chase
McCabe will be giving a Cornelia Fort Airport tour.
I'm fascinated by airports.
Same.
I'm even more fascinated by closed airports or what airport. I went down a rabbit hole one day reading about Berryfield. which is B and A. That's
Yeah.
where you get that.
Right.
Barry Nashville. There's a little trivia for you. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Clark Lee. They're wrapping up spring practice with Vanderbilt. They got the spring game coming up on Saturday over there on campus. We'll talk to the Vanderbilt football coach next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game, live today from the Omni Nashville Hotel at Bar Lines. Having a great time so far. Coming up this Saturday over at Vanderbilt, it's the black and gold game. You can actually hear that on 94.9 The Fan starting at 12:45 with coverage there. And to talk more about that into spring practice, we bring in Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee, who is with us now. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I've got a better idea. Listen to the broadcast while you're in the stadium. How about that?
I love that idea. I think that is the perfect thing to do. It helps us both out, and I know that it's free. Fans can claim tickets on the website on the football schedule page. So just go to vucommodores.com, and you can get your tickets and come hang out. How has spring practice been for you guys?
It's been good. I mean, I think it's spring ball for coaches is the best because you're just focused on progress and trying to just get better every day. I think our guys have maintained an energy level and an intensity. They've been physical, and we've covered ground. Well, we've gotten somewhere this spring. Obviously, we're not ready to play yet. We got a long way to go, but I think I'm proud of the way the guys have approached the work, and we're excited to be out there Saturday in front of the fans and show them where we've gotten to, and also excited to turn the page and get to the work that we need to do in the summer to be ready for training camp.
So, I feel like it's ever evolving. Is the transfer portal done, or is it still open?
The transfer portal's done. So we have. I mean, there are some guys that are probably looking for homes still, but there's not a second portal window this year. We went to one window in January, and so we know who our team's going to be. We'll add a couple of parts this summer from guys that are graduating high school, and we'll be joining our roster in the summertime. But on the whole, it's nice to know who our team is. It's nice to know that that's not going to change, and we can really just focus on the work that needs to be done moving forward.
We're talking to Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee on the Chasing Big Joe show. Coach, I think I asked you this before when you were on. What is your goal of spring ball? Because I told you when I played college spring ball, we just beat the hell out of each other in spring practice. We didn't learn much. You're obviously a lot smarter than my coaches back then. What is your goal for spring ball?
Well, it's a chance to start formation of a football identity as a team. So, can I teach them, and can we understand what good football looks like? What are the kind of foundational elements of playing good football? And for us, that's playing with effort, fundamental mastery. So the work in individual drills to really internalize the technique we're going to need to win. Can we be physical? Can we start to understand what execution of our systems looks like? Can we be a smart team that learns how to study film, making the available play to put pressure on the other side, and then playing with pre-snap and post-whistle discipline? Those 7 things are what we focus on kind of bringing to the forefront every day and really trying to just form our identity as a football team into playing a football. Different than when you and I played. These aren't 3-hour sessions. They're 90 minutes. 95 minutes where we're in and out. We work with efficiency. We want to attack the work with urgency and get our work done and also focus on recovery. So what I've told the guys is it's 5 weeks in preparation for 5 months. So we have to focus on our habits, behaviors, our systems for recovery, knowing that spring ball is 5 weeks, that we need to, it's a test run for what will be a 5-month grind or a 5-month marathon in the fall.
I know you've been asked this a million times, but what was the goal for you for Jared Curtis during the spring practice?
We needed to see him just at the beginning of his time, learning systems process, gaining familiarity in the system, gelling with teammates. And really my goal for him was to go out there and make as many mistakes as he could possibly make so he could learn from them. And I've been really impressed with him, man. I got to tell you, this guy is humble. He's hardworking. He's very aware of the things that he needs to be doing to improve himself. And we have a good baseline for him now that we can kind of shift attention in the summer to how we fine tune him in this process and what he's looking at pre-snap and post-snap, and give him the best chance to win the job in training camp. Obviously, these 4 guys are competing hard. They all want the job, and they've all had moments of explosive play, and I'm proud of the progress they've all made. Jared's the new one. Jared's got the most ground to cover in terms of just the mental parts of this, but we have a good plan for him this summer, and my goal is for all four of these guys to feel like they all got a fair shot at the job, and the best man wins. But what's been cool about Jared is as he's learning, as he's growing, the physical tools are undeniable, and so fans will be able to see this on Saturday. But the ball off his hand looks different. His ability to be explosive in the pass game. We've had him live a couple times this spring where he's been able to create with his legs. There's a lot to be excited about there, and for us, it's just a matter of how we help him fill those mental gaps that put him in a position potentially to strengthen the performance of the other 10 players on the field.
Clarkley is with us. Along those lines, Coach, do you with him being a freshman, him being a young guy, I mean, you got a senior, a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman in your quarterback room, which is pretty cool. But do you almost want to see some of those, like, thinking like a freshman, thinking like a guy that this is new to him because that's going to help you teach him more? Or, I mean, if he comes in and like he may be a freshman, but he's acting like, he's done it before and been there for a few years, is that what you're looking for? Or is it a little bit of both?
No, right now it's the freshman. We want to see the freshman. We want him to not try to hide from the progress he needs to make. One of the things that's interesting, and again, we're talking about someone who has elite skills, elite tools. And so, he can get himself out of problems with the velocity of his ball and his ability to put it where he needs it to be. And so some of the gaps that he has mentally, he's covering with just the physical abilities. But, to win at the level we want to win, we're going to need to combine both. He's going to need to have a process that he's kind of stapled to before the ball snaps. That's going to allow him to be on time and in rhythm with his receivers and really play within the structure of the offense. But what we've seen from him is when it breaks down, he's got an incredible creative expression that comes to the forefront and has been a lot of fun to watch. But we want to put him in stressful situations right now, just like we want to put all four of those guys in stressful situations. We want to learn where they're strong, where they need attention and work, and I think we've accomplished that. Again, I think they're all four problem solvers in their own way, and it's been fun to watch them navigate some of the tough situations where we put them behind the chains, off schedule on second down, and then to be off schedule on third down, multiple blitz looks and 7 up on the line of scrimmage, just trying to get them in a mode of, again, problem solving from that quarterback position. A large part of that is mental, and then there's a part of that that's also physical. And with Jared in particular, the physical parts of it are, again, undeniable. I mean, you see him every day. The mental parts of it are where we're working, and it's not a lack of capability. This is a really smart guy who's really excited to learn the position. It just takes some time and repetition. That's the process we're in now, and that's why I'm not in a rush, to name a starter, because we need to see where he can get to, and we need to see where the other guys measure out, and we need to make the best decision for this team to win in our first game.
That's why you're a very good head coach, and Chase and I will never be a very good head coach. Coach, a week from today, I know it's a spring game is this weekend, but a week from today could be a nice weekend for the Vanderbilt Commodores, Diego in the draft, Eli Stowers in the draft. I want to ask you personally, though, what's it like to see a guy that has bought into your program get to the next level? It's got to be a great feeling, whether it was here, Notre Dame, wherever you were. It's got to be a good feeling to see a guy that you've coached and loved on get to the next level.
It's incredible, and I've been fortunate in my career to be able to experience it a number of times now. But I will tell you that it feels different as a head coach, and I think particularly when you talk about Vanderbilt and this program and where we've come from. We have not had a lot of draft picks here. In fact, I've had one in my time, and that was our long snapper a year ago, and obviously we celebrate that, but I'm really interested in continuing to grow this program to where you're hearing Vanderbilt players' names called often in the draft. And so I feel like this draft is a great next step for us. I'm so excited. Part of the reason I work is to facilitate the dreams of the players. And certainly, draft weekend will be a dream come true for a lot of those guys. And The other thing too is, we'll have a number of guys that'll sign free agent contracts after the draft that have been such deeply impactful players in our program, and we're going to look up, and these guys are going to be playing long careers because of who they are and the kind of workers they are, and again, how we've collaborated in their growth here over the last, in some cases, 4 or 5 years. So big moment. Obviously, so excited for Diego, so excited for Eli. Great for Vanderbilt football. Want to continue to see Vanderbilt players featured as they take the next steps towards their long-term dreams.
You talked about Jared's process and growing as a quarterback in your program. What Diego accomplished with you all in the last couple of years. You've said glowing things around him, but if an NFL team does take a chance on him, and I believe they will, I believe his name will be called next weekend at some point, what are they getting from a guy that isn't worried about being too small, isn't worried about, not having some of the intangibles that maybe some of the quarterbacks at the top of the draft may have? What are they getting in Diego if they call his name and bring him on their team?
Well, listen, first of all, I can't say enough, and I've said a lot about Diego, what I believe in him as a person. He is a program changer. I think he's an organizational changer. I think he's a guy that's going to elevate everyone in the locker room. And he does it not in ways, I think we sometimes kind of put too much focus on guys that are getting on their soapboxes and giving, pregame speeches in the locker room. That is not who he is. This is a guy that is dedicated and devoted to process. He makes quiet connections. He invites people over to his house. He takes care of them. They go to meals. He's, if you ask my kids, I mean, he's like their brother. This guy he relates to all kinds of people, all ages. And he'll do that in an NFL locker room too. He's a winner. So you're talking about a guy who's built his career at Nimi, New Mexico State, and Vanderbilt, and he's won at all three places. And at New Mexico State and Vanderbilt, he's helped teams to 10-win seasons. So that you cannot put a value on that as far as an approach, a mindset, the leadership, the confidence, all of it. But I think what is underappreciated with him is how good of a quarterback he is. So, I've talked a lot about his character and about the things he does in the locker room and, how close we are as people. But this dude is a really good quarterback. I mean, his development here over the last 2 years has been remarkable. I think if you look at us in terms of our offensive identity in 24 and how we got to that bowl game, we were running the ball. It was almost like an option team, in a lot of ways. Last year, we were one of the most explosive offenses in the country, and that wasn't because we were throwing hitches and they were catch and run plays. This guy was pushing the ball down the field. If you look at his metrics with respect to yards per completion, big game throws, throws beyond the sticks, he's up there with the guys that are being talked about going pick one. And so you have the combination of this absolute warrior who has such a relatability in the locker room and the ability to build connection in the most pure ways. And then you have a really talented quarterback. And I don't think Diego would be who he was if it weren't for the physical stuff, meaning, he is who he is because he's 5'10" and not 6'4". And that's actually what makes him special. You cannot deny his physical abilities, his durability, the things that he's done where he's put our team on his back at times in the last 2 years and willed us to victory, taken hits, stood in the pocket, delivered throws, all those things show up. And so I can't wait, wherever he goes, I'm going to buy the jersey. I'm going to be the biggest fan. I'm excited to watch him. I think he's on the front end of a long career, and, next weekend will be a big celebration for him.
No doubt about it. Coach, appreciate your time as always. Have fun this weekend with the spring game, and we look forward to talking to you very soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. Y'all be well.
Absolutely. That is Coach Clark Lee, Vanderbilt Commodores. Again, VUCommodores.com. You can go and get free tickets to the spring game coming up on Saturday over at Vanderbilt, and we appreciate his time. We got another coach.
We
going
do.
to join us here in a second. Our coach, Coach Jeff Fisher, going to join us here in just a second, live from Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel. It's 102.5 The Game and Chasing Big Joe. We told you it was going to be a packed show live here at Bar Lines here at the Omni Nashville Hotel. The Nashville Cats season gets underway tomorrow. Or the Cats, I got to get used to that. The Cat season gets underway starting tomorrow in Clarksville. And to talk more about that, we bring in Coach Jeff Fisher, who is with us now, Commissioner of AF1. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. Do want to start? You lost one of your buddies this week, Coach Mack.
Yes, we did Monday.
Yeah.
I'd love to reflect a little bit about him. I've never met a person in my life that had a more positive influence on anyone and everyone that he crossed paths with than Mac.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys that you could meet and talk to him for 5 minutes and walk away from him, and you think you've known him all your life. He's one of those guys. We lost a real good one.
Yeah,
we really did, and he fought, and it's been a long month and a half or thereabouts. But I was very fortunate, to be, I don't want to say the inner circle, but I was there. It feels a little unusual. Those all the listeners gone through it when you've had a loved one that that's fighting, and then Lord takes them, and so kind of weird not being back in ICU right now, like we were. But the people that he touched over his career, and the people that reached out and made trips in to see him and everything, it's just amazing. And the outpouring that I got personally from people over the last 30 or 40 years has really been special.
How influential was he when he joined the Titans with you and you hired him in 2004 to coach linebackers? Was he to kind of take it? That was that transition point that, the first run was kind of had run its course. You had guys that ended up leaving, and then the next wave was coming in. How influential was he in kind of helping you develop that next era of the Titans?
Well, he was very, very important. I mean, he would go. He was in his room, and his responsibility was the linebackers at that point. And, everybody's responsible for their position groups. But Mac had, over, the previous 10 years, had gotten a lot of experience. He was a defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, defensive coordinator, interim head coach, and then got fired out at Arizona. And that's when I reached out to him. I said, hey, why don't you come on in here? And because Mac had aspirations of, moving on and potentially trying to get another head coaching job. I said, why don't you come on in here and just settle down? I'll take care of all the stuff at the end of the hall that needs to be taken care of. And you just focus here and coach linebackers and get back to what you're really good at. And so he did. So, the coordinators, Greg Williams, as you mentioned, had left, and Jim Schwartz had left. And so, now we're in that transition period. And so he was extraordinary. I mean, and then, when we left here, I promoted him, I think, somewhere along the line to assistant head coach defense. And then, when I went to St. Louis, that's what he was. He was assistant head coach, period. And so, at the end of the hall, and I said this numerous times, I mean, at the end of the hall, days get busy, things come up. You can have the best, well-planned day, and then, an hour into it, things are gone haywire because all kinds of stuff comes out. He's the one that sticks his head in the door and goes, "You okay? You need me to do anything?" And that's just how he was wired. And I guarantee you, he knew every single player's kids' names, coaching staff, grandmas. I mean, he was just Uncle Mac at that point. And for me, as I stepped away, from Mac a little bit, but not on Sundays and not personally, but professionally, the impact that I think he had on Titans radio was just off the charts.
We're talking to Jeff Fisher on the Chase and Big Joe show. You've dealt with hundreds of coaches. What made him special, and why does this one hurt so much?
Mac he had that way of, it was communication. He was so honest, and the people, players just trusted him when they walked in the door. A lot of times, as I got into my career, players were starting to, it was different. It was a little different. There were a lot of distractions, a lot of things. And, they come in and they don't know who to trust. And, there's a self-respect issue and kind of things. But boy, Mac was the guy. Mac was the guy that they would come to. Mac was the guy that handled so many of the behind the scenes little personal issues for them. Hey man, it's like, brother, I know, I got
Right.
it, I got it. So yeah, that's what he was really different. I mean, the one thing I do want to point out that I didn't get a chance to talk about and appreciate the opportunity was how Mac's life was affected and rocked when he lost Pat Tillman.
Right.
Yeah.
That was different. That was a different Mac. And I mean, he was just devastated. And so, I talked to him a lot about that and, and everything. And just for the listeners, Pat Tillman was a player his with the Arizona Cardinals. He was a good player. He was one of those heavy hitting, big bodied safety guys that was playing special teams. And then immediately following 9/11, Pat walked away from the Cardinals and enlisted, and then was tragically killed in battle, friendly fire. And that was, because Mac was communicating him through the whole process, whatever, his journey through into special ops and all that stuff and
right.
what he was doing. So, but Mac was, he saw it as a blessing in his life to be able to coach a player that felt that strong about this country and what had happened, that he was going to go in and make a difference.
Wow. I knew, we all knew Coach Mac. I was in the cafe one day over there, and he said, I want to show you something. We went in his office, and he had the invitation where Emmitt Smith had invited him to the Hall of Fame induction. And Emmitt only played for him for what, a year or two?
Yeah,
and right. I was like, that's pretty great. And it would just talk about the impact that this man had on this legendary player in a short period of time. And it all speaks to what you're talking about right here.
Yeah, I mean, on the way over here, I was on the phone, a former 85 Bear. He was there 1 or 2 years after that. Kurt Becker, a guard, good friend of mine out of Michigan, called to find out, what had happened and expressed his condolences. So he touched a lot of people over a long, long time.
Let me ask you this, not to put you on the spot. You talk about what a great job he did on Titans radio. Would you do that for 1 year?
Would I do it?
Titans radio? To continue the legacy of Coach Mack, what he did? You could say, I don't want to talk about it and move on. But here's a man who he did great on the radio, and he was one of your best friends. We would love to have you.
At Big Joe on the
Big Joe tackling that big back's like bumping your head off a frozen truck bumper.
We think you'd be
keep
fantastic.
Your powder dry, brother. That's that on a scale of between 1 and 10. That's some good shit. Okay, how am I doing so far?
You're fantastic.
That was
yes.
good. I was waiting for that right there.
I would do anything for Mac.
Yes,
and that's what's awesome.
Would.
Coach Jeff Fisher is with us. Can we step away for a second and then we'll talk some Cats?
Yeah,
we'll have more with Coach.
Thank you.
Coming up next here from Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Jason Big Joe on this Thursday on 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Thursday. We're at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Barlines talking about with our buddy Coach Jeff Fisher. The Cats get things started tomorrow at F&M Bank Arena. AF1 tickets looking good for the first game.
Looking good. Yeah, we the Cats had a bye for week one. Yep. We got odd number teams. They got it last week. We had 4 games. We had our Vice game of the week, and that thing, came off okay. We got a lot of work to do with the broadcast, but the HTN stuff, the streaming stuff, once we got it settled in San Diego, we had an Oceanside and Beaumont play, and there were some issues, but we got through everything. And so, yeah, you can stream the Cats on HTN, which is Hometown Network, and free charge, no paywall there, and watch the broadcast. So that's we're excited about that. We will have 2 or 3, maybe even 4 game of the weeks down the line with respect to the Cats. But overall, I thought it was a good opening weekend. Numbers are good. The digital numbers and all social media numbers are really good, way ahead of last year. Tickets are good, and so. It's going to be a challenge. Anytime week one's a challenge, but fortunately, we have a head coach here up there that's had plenty of week ones in his career. He's 12 wins away from becoming the all-time winning this indoor football coach. So Coach Arbette. So kind of looking forward to see how things unfold.
Well, we're excited to be a part of things again. Unfortunately, I'm gonna miss the first game, but George Plaster will be a good one to hang out with.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, that's a name that
unacceptable. Sorry, Coach. Week one, unacceptable. For that.
That's right.
We want a commitment there. We had Mayor Golden on yesterday.
I heard that. Yes, I heard that. I was a little busy with Coach Mac stuff, but
just the excitement up there. But for you, this whole new brand territory up in Clarksville, they've bought into you guys. It's got you and Jeff Jarrett are doing all the videos up there. It's got to be fun going to uncharted territory.
Yeah, it was. And a memory comes back. It was a week before Christmas, and there was a Christmas parade up there in downtown Clarksville. And F&M Bank Arena had a float or what have you. And so they invited us up, and I jumped on that thing. And now it's cold, and it's foggy, and people don't really know who's on these floats. But I was absolutely amazed. They said there were over 30,000 people.
Wow!
In this parade route for their Christmas parade.
That's fantastic.
It was amazing, and so there's a lot of excitement up there. When we put this season tickets on sale, boom, we had a volley. We got close to 100 or 1,000 the first day. Single game went on, 6 or 8 weeks ago, and they're still rolling. So you guys saw it. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
so, so we're kind of looking forward to getting through it. There's always without the preseason and and all the preseason game where you can kind of dress rehearse and things like that. There's things that have a tendency to not to be overlooked. That just they may be something may be plugged in wrong. You got to make sure. Right. So we're going to go up there early, make sure everything's working.
Yeah, it's exciting because the 2 games up there last year, you knew, right? I was talking to you, and you're looking out in the crowd, and you're like, look at this. You knew, right? Yeah. And so it's even better when and it all comes to this fruition of wow.
Exactly. So we're just hoping things go smoothly. That the venues, there's really one entrance, remember that big one there. And so we're hoping that goes quick so we get people in their seats and get them going. So we there's a lot going on. I got a flag football game at halftime, and
there you go.
The Lady Cats are all fired up to perform and that. And then, we got a lot going. Jeff Jarrett included.
It's good.
Made him put in writing he wasn't going to take my rear end down at midfield with some freaking wrestling move. That's cool. This is kind of where I met him. Remember this?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
it was right over there. Yeah,
right over there. Yeah. Known a lot about him, and it was the first time I met him personally. And shoot, I've been on the phone with him 3 or 4 times a day.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher is with us. To ask you, we're a week away from the draft. And, you've been through this so many times, but Mike Borgonzi spoke today, and we were talking about this off the air, and he was asked about, the GM and the coach, you're always going to have agreements. You're always going to have disagreements. That's a part of it. But when you're coming up on a player and the GM really likes it, but the coach just doesn't feel it. How important is it to find that middle ground? Because he said, if coach is not comfortable with the player, we're not going to take that player. And I thought that was refreshing to hear. How important is it to find that middle ground, whether it's with the head coach, a position coach, a coordinator, and then the talent evaluators, the front office, to agree on when to take a guy?
I'd also say it works both ways.
Sure.
So if the coach, if the GM wants a player, I mean, it's a two-way street. And what you have to do is all the work's been done. We hope that now I know it's been a blur of an off season for coach and his staff and everything, but they got meetings. Their board's probably pretty close to being right now. It will be right. So the head coach and the GM are going to sit there and say, okay, this guy versus that guy, this guy versus that guy. If these three guys are gone, and you're just going to go through that scenario. So you should have most of those things worked out, but it's really good to hear that you've got guys working together on the same page. Now, the obvious issues there are the general manager has had more time evaluating these kids, and he's had more input from his scouts and his staff and the directors and all that stuff. And so the head coach typically is going to see as many, as this is the way I did it, I was going to see as many as I possibly could that had second round and up grades, maybe middle, third round grades and up, meaning I'm going to watch 2 or 3 or 4 games of each one of those guys on our board. You don't have time to go down and look at the 4th round, 5th, and all into the 6th round. You just don't have the time. So that's where you have to trust your people, and then you may have to go look at a highlight tape or a point of attack tape really quick if you got a couple guys that are down there, and you got. Let's say you're in the 6th round, you got a 4th round grade on a kid, and you haven't seen him. You want to see him, and so there's a lot of communication that goes on, and that would also include, they should have a pretty good idea about movement. If they're going to trade and up or back, or then go here and go there, should have all those scenarios already have been rehearsed, and so I think I'm especially excited about this because I think this is the best staff that they've had in years. I'll just say that.
I agree with that.
I say with the coordinators and then coach, I hate to say this, but there's no sign of any daycare around there anymore.
Yes.
You just made his day.
This is a real deal, okay?
I love it.
I'm not going to put up with anything.
I love it.
Yeah.
As a head coach, how much did you deal with scouts? Were you allowed to talk to scouts? Did a scout come to you and say, hey, coach, there's this guy at some school, you got to look at him? I mean,
so, okay, real quick. Okay, we're gonna talk about, let's say we're gonna talk about tight ends today, for example, and we got everybody in the draft room. Okay, and on the board there, you'll have your tight ends from the one that was graded the highest all the way down to the bottom. And so you're gonna start at the top or start at the bottom. You call the name out. The area scout's gonna read his report. Okay, then the assistant director is going to read his report. The director of scout is going to read his report, and then the GM may chime in. Okay, and then the coach reads his report. So now you've talked about this player. Okay, so everybody's got a good feel for him and say, okay, is he okay in this area, or do we want to move him up just a little bit, and then we'll revisit the player and so on and so forth. So yes, the scouts are in. They should be in. They should be reading their reports. Talking about everything and anything and everything, character, athletic ability, background, family history, and now it's how many colleges did he play at,
right,
and all that stuff. But so you're gonna throw all this information out, and if it's a guy that the head coach like that I hadn't seen, I'm taking notes and and so said this and he said that, and I got questions, and you can hopefully ask questions. You should be able to have open dialogue in there and ask questions. You should ask the scouts questions,
right?
All right, what games did you see him play? Okay, and who did he play against? That's where you got to really be specific because you want to make sure left tackles, that you've seen him against a really good pass rusher. Things like that.
Right. You hit some home runs though in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. Derek Mason, David Stewart, Bo Scaife, Cortland Finnegan. How did those guys become successful when they're not day one and hell, not even day 2 guys?
Well, we had a lot of information. We had Floyd had put together a really good group of guys. I mean, from CO to, Rich Snead was really valuable and rest his soul and all that. But what happens sometimes is your board, you've got them graded numerically, okay? And then there's a line underneath. All these guys above the line, we have first round grades on. And then the next group is your second round group. Okay, so they're rated numerically, but they're also separated by rounds, okay? So you're in the third round right now, and you have a player up on above the second round line, okay? You've got a higher grade on him. Now you really got to pay attention to the fact that he's there. Why is he still there? Were we wrong? Is there a character issue? Is there an energy issue? And so you have to identify all those aspects. And all this. I'm sure now it's all done, from an automated standpoint. But we would have different color shields. Half a red shield. I mean, the guy's got injury history, or you have a little yellow shield over his name, and that guy's got some character issues in his background that make sure that we're talking about. Now you take the shields off before the draft, and you go, and some of them you leave on there. So, but that's kind of how. So how do you get those guys? Well, it's coaches buying into it. It's an area scout. Wait a minute, I saw him do this. He can do this for us. I mean, I remember Chuck Cecil just jumping on the table for Cortland. And oh, by the way, did he love Michael Griffin? Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, they both went to Pro Bowl as rookies. So
you're right.
Okay, so he knew. I mean, Chuck can evaluate DBs, and that's the other thing you got to be careful of. There are really good coaches out there in the meeting room, the NFL coaches that are less than capable, or what I want to say, that might be average or below average evaluators. They can coach the position, they can do this stuff, but they have a hard time telling who's better, okay, and who they like and voicing their opinion. So as long as you have them evaluated and you understand that, then because you're going to get a high grade on a guy and you're going to get a low grade on a guy, and and so you got to kind of have to average that out and put it back up. But this is a fun week for them right now. I can't imagine what's going on. They got the new staff in there, and everybody's doing it. And they got late night dinners and catering, and that board's just flying all over the place. And rechecks. And hey, did you get did you get a report on that ACL on so and so in his freshman year when you did da da da. So there's a lot of information still coming in.
Do you miss it?
I missed that part of it. Oh yeah. I missed. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, well that's the, that's the fun part is, and then what you miss is when you get your guy, when your guy's there. Are we all good with this? Everybody good with this? Because when we pull this guy off this board, we all drafted this to get this guy together, and so did the security guard. This is his pick. You don't want to hear any of that business, through the building and all the second guessers. So I remember had fun with remember Mark Mariani. Mark had played with my son Brandon at Montana. And I knew Mark. I knew his parents. I knew, and I kind of told them I went up and saw a game during the bye week and watched Mark running around. And I was up in the suite with his parents because I was cold, and I was joking around saying, I just might draft him in a year or two whenever he's eligible. And so here you go. We got a fifth round grade on him. It's the sixth round, and why not? We need a returner. He'll be a good slot receiver, and boom, we take him. And oh my gosh, did I get a bunch of grief from some of the local writers?
I was in that meeting
because I drafted my son's college roommate.
Yep.
And what happened his freshman year, or his rookie year?
Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the, really one of the best returners they've had.
Now, do you think I would waste a pick on somebody like that? I mean, it's like, now, let me tell you a really quick story about waste a pick. I'm going to go way back. San Francisco 49ers, I was there 2 years. I was there 92, 93. Okay. George Seifert, Carmen Policy, Eddie DeBartolo, Joe Montana, Steve Young, that era.
Yeah.
Okay. Carmen Policy, okay, who was the president, okay, he got to make a pick traditionally every year. And there were 12 rounds back there, so I don't know if he got the 12th round, you got to pick the 12th round or the 11th round, whatever it was. But when I got there, they said, Carmen's going to be up. I wonder who he's going to take. I went, who's? And they go, Carmen, the president. I go, he's going to draft a player? And they go, yeah. And so anyway, Carmen Policy gets up there and he's kind of looking around and we're on the board and he reaches up and he takes Elvis Gerback, quarterback from Michigan.
Yep.
Right. Okay. He's still on the board. It's a 12th round. He was, he would have been a free agent, whatever. And he took him because he had all these vowels in his last name.
Oh my God.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And he played, he was there. He played.
That's right.
He was a good player, a good college player.
All the vowels.
Oh, that's great, man. I want to go back to something you said earlier about, looking at a guy that has some character flaws that, we call it stuff, had some stuff, whether it's a DUI or a fight or something. How did, if there was the consensus of like, we know this stuff's there, we're going to deal with it. How did you kind of mentally prepare for that? Or what were some of the conversations you would have with the player of knowing there was some history of like, you're going to leave that at the door when you walk in here?
Yeah, that's the case, but that's already done. If a guy had an issue, had an arrest, we would have all the information regarding it, and then of course you want to interview the player at the combine if he's a top 300 guy, or bring him in for a visit, interview him again and again, and get all the details because word of mouth and people, reality can change, and sometimes it's a self-defense thing. Sometimes we would have reacted the same thing because somebody insulted his wife or girl, things like that. So get as much information as you possibly can and then make your decision. And there were a lot. We had a few over the years where, they've fallen, guy a second round grade, third round grade, and now he's down there fifth, sixth. Okay. We want to bring him in as a college free agent. Okay. It's sit down and here we go. And so, I always had the conversation with the guys prior to the draft, that 20 visit guys and guys whenever I could. And, I basically praised them I asked them if you remember the first time you put a helmet on, the first time you looked through that plastic. How old were you? You were 7 or 8 years old. And, they're nodding, they're smiling. I said, could you imagine where you are right now? It's like, congratulations, you are just about ready to catch your first pass or have your first carry or your first pass rush in the NFL. I mean, this is so cool. I mean, you're like a week away from that. Yeah, coach. Yeah, I'm really excited. Did you know that your last play is about this far away from your first play in the NFL? And it is basically, it's like they look at you and they go, what do you mean? And I go, you're born that way in the NFL. That's the reality. Okay. You make a mistake, you do this, you do that. Only you can push it back there 8 or 10 years, that last play. And that's my job, is to help you learn how to do that, kind of thing. And so, I mean, there's a lot of, we had the listeners don't see this, but my hands are about 6 or 8 inches apart. That was how thick our draft book was on Johnny Manziel.
Yep.
The information.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Elementary school teachers. Yeah. The waitress at wherever, it's just, we had all the information you possibly could get. And I said this to you, I think one of the benefits, and go back to Cam, when Cam was drafted here a couple of years ago, one of the benefits of this NIL stuff and everybody moving is you have more people to interview now.
To talk to. Yeah.
You have more people to talk to. Yeah.
Coach, we appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow
night. Got out there on a
love it.
Yeah.
We're excited.
And I just want to say to the listeners again, if you got a chance to meet Coach Mack over your lifetime, you've been blessed. And if you didn't, think of him and you'll be blessed, because that is one good man we lost.
Amen to that.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
Coach Jeff Fisher joining us on the program. We're going to talk some boxing when we come back. Jason Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 3, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Thursday. We're live at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Bar Lines, moving fast and furiously throughout this show. We told you it was going to be a busy show. We've covered football. We've covered rugby. Let's hit some boxing. Let's do a little bit of that. It's coming up tomorrow at Municipal Auditorium. The Team Boxing League, as the Nashville Smash, will take on the Phoenix Fury. And we're excited now to have Fred DeLay, the head coach, on, and introduce your fighter to us, Isaiah.
Yes, this is Isaiah Elrod. He's from Johnson City, Tennessee, and he was one of our fighters from last year, and excited to have him back this year.
You excited to be in your home state?
Oh yeah, I love it. You know, it's great. We get a great turnout. You know, a lot of fans. It's nice to put on a show for them.
This whole concept, we were just talking off the air, Fred, that like this team boxing concept is something that I had never heard until this. Pretty cool to see because you can have multiple fighters. You do 1 or 2 rounds, and you're not having to train and focus on having to do a full fight. I think it's pretty cool.
Man, it's exciting. You know, you only fight 1 round, maybe 2 rounds, but you have to train still and have the conditioning to be able to go hard that whole time you're in there. Because let's face it, these guys are coming strong. Everybody is ready to fight, and you got to get that win 1 round at a time. So it's important. So you got to train just as hard, maybe even harder, and maybe just a tad bit different.
Isaiah, do you know when you're going in the match? I mean, do you find out the night of? Do you know now where you're going to be tomorrow night?
Yeah. So they let us know before. You know, we have an idea of what rounds we're going to be. Sadly, tomorrow night, my opponent decided that he wasn't going to show up. I guess he got scared, wouldn't get on the plane, and so I'm not going to get the chance to fight tomorrow night. Did all the work, made the weight, but
right now is that a point for us?
No. So what happens is,
damn it,
we got to go through the swing rounds and bring up. I had him scheduled to fight in the launch rounds and the money rounds, and we hand select. And I can go over that process with you, but we chose him to be one of our money round fights, the ones that we feel good and strong about, and so when his opponent didn't come to Nashville, we had to pull up from the swing rounds, 2 fights that maybe we didn't necessarily want. We still next man up scenario,
right.
but when we had to do that, we definitely we took it on the chin a little bit because we were counting on him to get the W in each one of his rounds and maybe the stoppage, and that's probably why he didn't show up on the airplane.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, you got to be bummed, right? I would.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. You know what I'm saying? Because you do all the work. A cut takes 2 weeks. A lot of people don't understand that. I spend 2 weeks working my butt off, cutting that weight, training myself, killing myself, and then show up ready to fight. Do the fun part, and now I don't get to. So it's awful.
But the good news is that we have, in this great format, we have another fight next week already, and so he can go right into there. He's going to be a professional and move past this moment and get ready for next week when we fly to LA and we fight the LA Elite. And so that's just part of it. And then he'll be here tomorrow night to cheer on and be there for his brothers and sisters on the team.
So tomorrow night there's no 165 match.
So they're 160. So there's not going to be a 160 match. So we had to pull up 2 fighters that were only planning on fighting once.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, like that, we bring 2 up. And they have to step up and fight. You see, so we had our strategy, and he was a big part of our strategy for the format. Anything could happen. Somebody could get really sick, somebody could have an accident or whatever. So this type of thing could happen. We don't know, truly, we don't know what happened to this guy. But that's just that's the challenge of a coach, because now you're trying to figure out, okay, who do we, and that kind of stuff. And then do we have these particular fighters that we're only going to plan to fight once? Do we have them mentally ready to come in there and fight? I feel like we do. We obviously would rather have Isaiah. That was our original game plan, but it's just part of it.
So Isaiah, do you prepare for a specific guy? Do you watch tape on a guy?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm a student of the game. Like I'm a pretty boring guy when it comes to stuff. Like I watch boxing. That's it. So spent this whole time preparing for him. You know what I'm saying? We actually tried to move me up a weight class because I just wanted to fight. So I spent all last night studying the guy that I thought I was going to be able to fight. You know, we found out this morning it wasn't going to be able to happen, but you know, I'm definitely a student of the game.
Coach, tomorrow night in this auditorium, and tell us why we need, because I find this all fascinating too. This is a lot of fun because this isn't traditional 15-round boxing. It is, but it's not. Why should we come tomorrow night?
Man, it is exciting. You know, before, you know, we all come out of a traditional boxing background. A couple years back, my son and another young man that I've been training for since he was a kid, they got into the league, and I was a little skeptical, but we go to San Antonio, we fight. It comes down to the last round.
Wow.
We need a knockout to win. And so you go out there and 23 rounds have just happened. And there is a moment in time that this last fight, and it happened to be my son who actually was fighting that, he had to get the knockout to win the fight. So that excitement, you know, and leading up to that, it was a back and forth bout, you know, so we were up, they were up and going down. So it is such an exciting time. And these guys go out there. By the way, he didn't get the knockout win. It didn't happen. It's hard when you have to knock somebody out and you only have 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it's a little bit difficult.
Crazy.
But nonetheless, that was the mentality to go out there and win. But the excitement level is different because number one, you have you have your teammates and brothers and sisters that you're fighting for out there. They're cheering you on. It's so electric, and so forth. And so that alone is worth coming down and watching. And, you know, you're building relationships with these fighters. I like to bring back my fighters and have long tenured fighters and build them up and hopefully pick them and build them and drill. Isaiah is a perfect example. He last year had a great season. And after last season, he went right to work. I witnessed it. He came to our gym for mini camps and went home and worked his butt off on all the different things that would help him win. And all of a sudden now he's showing up into the league and he's ready to move to the next level. Nice. So as you come to our fights and you start to see Will Langston, who you'll meet later on in the interview, and then, you know,
well, let's get Will up here. Actually, that'd be cool.
Come on,
we'll switch you guys out. Isaiah, sorry you can't fight tomorrow, but appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's good to have. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we'll have a little tag team match here for a second and bring in your teammate here.
Yeah. So, but that's the reason why you need to come there, because it's so exciting. So many characters, such excitement to the game.
Will, what weight class are you?
Light heavyweight, 175.
Okay, so he's got an opponent tomorrow. He's ready to go.
Yes.
What have you done to kind of study up on your opponent?
I've been watching the guy for a while. I'm actually really cool with his manager, so I'll try to take an actual pro fight with this guy. So nothing new to me. I've been watching him for a while. He's kind of like one of the boogeymans of the the division in the league. But those are the guys that I look forward to fighting. You know, everyone always, you know, they have this hype around him, and you know, he's made a big name for himself in the league, and you know, all respect to him, but he's never fought me. So I mean, I think that's going to be a big difference in it. You know, he's a lot smaller than I am. I'm a real 175. A lot of these guys fight at lower weight classes and they just don't want to cut weight in the league, so they come up. You know, I was fighting at 168, but just because it was easy for me to make the weight.
Yeah.
But now I'm fighting at 175, and actually in my actual career as well, I'm fighting at 175, so I feel a lot stronger. I get to walk around a lot heavier, a lot easier for me to make the cut. So it's gonna be fireworks tomorrow night for sure.
Okay. I like his confidence. Now,
I love this.
Does he go first?
Well, I don't know. He doesn't go first. I think he fights in the middle rounds and then in the money rounds.
Okay.
So it's definitely exciting. You know, since I met him, one of the things that I fell in love with this guy over is he when he gets, like I told him, hey, we're fighting. You know, I gave him his opponent's name, and he was like, absolutely, I want that fight. I want, like, a lot of people would stay away from that fight with this guy's reputation, right? And Will, this is not just new to this particular week. It's every week. He wants the best. He wants to fight and challenge himself against the best. And that's another reason why you should come, because you get to meet a guy like that and watch him go to war and put in all the work. I know he works hard. I talk to him every week. He trains up in Wisconsin. I talk to him every week, and I know what he puts into it.
Love it. So how many this goes on for a number of weeks, like because you're only doing 1 or 2 rounds a week, can you fight the next week, or is it how does that work?
Oh yeah, for sure. So after this one, what we'll do is we'll just go back into preparing for the next bout, and I've already scouted that guy, so we already know what to prepare for. So it's really just about staying in shape, staying in the best shape you can. There's a saying, if you're ready, you don't got to get ready, and that's what I like to do.
And the biggest challenge on those like fast turnarounds like this one, I think we have 2 fast turnarounds is the weight cuts, but you just have to be diligent in not just in this week, but in all of it. And so, everybody's pros. We talk about it all the time. It's something that we make sure that we all recognize the challenges with that, because if you cut wrong, then you're not going to perform at your best. And so, but these guys are all professional, and a lot of guys like Isaiah and Will, who these 2 are actually very, very good at what they do when it comes to that. They can share, and I've heard them share with the younger fighters that come up on the team to help them to understand that, which is an amazing thing. Just that's organically happens. So I'm excited about that, but it is the challenge for sure.
I like both of you guys. Can we get you guys a fight with Jake Paul so y'all can shut him up, please?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I was actually in a camp with Jake Paul.
Were
I got
you
a
really?
picture with him. I was in camp with Jake Paul in Puerto Rico. I want to say this was back in 2022.
Okay.
I was in Puerto Rico for about a month.
Jake Paul doesn't want a real fight with him.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
No,
his
it's a good
persona
guy.
for the camera is like, it's different than what it is when you see him in person. He's a real soft-spoken, quiet guy. He's a good guy. But yeah, for sure, I take that fight. That's a big money fight. For sure.
Oh yeah.
But there's levels. There's levels to this game. Obviously you got amateurs, you got pros, and you got elite pros, you got world champions. I believe I'm on my way to become a world champion, and that's the goal. So I look to just share the ring with the best that I can, and even in my solo career, that's what I do. Win, lose, or draw, I'm always game to fight the best. There's a guy that he's a retired boxer. His name was Glenn Johnson, and they called him the Road Warrior. I like to look at myself as the modern day Road Warrior. I know I'm not the best, but I'm willing to fight the best.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll prove it with those guys.
I love that. The Team Boxing League is going to be at Municipal Auditorium tomorrow night. Get your tickets. Go check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun as the Nashville Smash take on the Phoenix Fury. Fred, Will, Isaiah, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, could I just say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just found out that the tickets are buy one, get one free between now and the fight. So it's something important.
Oh, wow.
Everybody should go and
Get
get
them while you can.
Yeah, because it's going to be an exciting fight. No doubt. It's going to be fun. And then at every home game afterwards, we encourage all the fans to come and meet and greet all of our fighters. They want it. They love it. They look forward to it. So take pictures, all that kind of stuff. It's a big fan friendly event. So buy one, get one free online, Team Boxing League.
Absolutely. TeamBoxingLeague.com. Guys, thank you so much for doing
Thanks for
this.
having us.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night. We'll come back. We'll talk some hockey. We'll do that with Greg Wyshynski next. 102.5 The Game. Let's talk some hockey now. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, the game from the Omni Nashville Hotel at Bar Lines. Greg Wyshynski joins us from ESPN, presented by Old National Bank. Get old. Greg, thanks for pushing back a little bit. How you doing?
My pleasure. Well, I mean, I got nothing else better to do than to prepare for round 5 between Edmonton and LA, which could be a thing that happens after tonight. Yeah, it's been good. I think we've got some intriguing first round matchups. Unfortunately, none of them involving Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if we're all being honest, and I said this to Barry Trotz when I saw him on Monday, you asked me at the beginning of the year, are the Predators going to be in a position in mid-April to make the playoffs? I probably would have told you no, and they were. And, it came right down to the wire. That's after selling at the deadline. So, I mean, if you're looking at things with the glass half full, obviously it's not what they wanted, but they certainly made it interesting and were there right at the end.
Yeah, and, I think one of the benefits from this run that they had was obviously increasing the value of some of the guys who might not be here next year, in particular a guy like Steven Stamkos, who I think has shown he's got plenty left in the tank. And, if the new general manager comes in and, as Stammer talked about the other day, declares they want to go in maybe a different direction away from the veteran players, his standing in this league as an elite offensive player, I think has increased because of what he's done this year and what he did to help the Predators remain in a playoff hunt. So there, in the long-term planning for what the Predators are trying to do, there's some benefits to what happened. If ultimately making the playoffs would have probably been the best thing for some of these young players.
Greg, when you kind of look at this, the names that are out there, we've talked to you about the GM search, Fitz, if he comes in, Tom Fitzgerald, I would say Andrew Brunette probably has a good chance of being back as the head coach. The others, I don't know. But looking at the season as a whole, strictly from evaluating the head coach, do you believe he should get another year here?
That's a really good point about Fitz too. I don't think I've considered that, the fact that, they have that relationship going back to when he was an associate coach with the Devils and maybe was the secret sauce for why they had the year that they had when he was on that bench. But
they were teammates here too.
And they were teammates, correct. Yes, they've got a long-standing relationship. I again, like it really comes down to two factors, like you said. Who's the GM? What are the expectations for next year insofar as what's the long-term plan? And ultimately, does ownership think he should come back? I mean, that's the other part of this too is, we don't really have a sense overall of what the highest tier of the organization thought of this close but no cigar season and the job that Brunette did as a coach. I tend to believe that the way that they played down the stretch and the contractual obligations therein for Brunette beyond this season would indicate that he will be back, but I have no solid intel on that either way. And we won't. I don't think anybody will until we know who the GM is.
Well, Greg, it's funny. People are like, wow, if you go to Nashville, they've only made one final in their history and, these contracts and yada, yada, yada. If I'm an assistant GM or a hockey operations guy, I would absolutely love the opportunity to be a general manager in the NHL, right?
Of course. Oh, of course. And I think it's a market, one, that has, a lot of inherent advantages as far as fan support and living here and players wanted to come there. But I mean, as they transition to the next thing, I think that they've got some good pieces already in place and certainly have some pieces they can move out to improve themselves in the short term. I'm still intrigued as to what the ultimate structure is going to be for this team. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago with you guys, I had some intel about the interview process, and it seemed like that they were gearing towards having someone with experience as a president of hockey operations and have somebody come in underneath them as the GM, kind of the way that Montreal kind of got set up with Jeff Gorton being top of the pyramid and Kent Hughes working underneath them. That's a template that we've seen for a few teams. And so the idea that it could be, say, a Tom Fitzgerald above someone like Bill Scott, for example, who I know is someone very much on Nashville's radar, the assistant general manager of the Edmonton Oilers. That's intriguing, but there's also the chance that they just give everything to one person and uncomplicate things and have that person just kind of lead the organization.
If there's a candidate that's with a team that goes a long way in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Does that hurt or hinder the Predators in any shape, form, or fashion when they try to get a new GM in here to evaluate talent, get the structure, on and on and on?
Not necessarily. I mean, basically, let's be honest. We all play this game where we believe that everybody's following the rules. We all believe there's no negotiation with players before they're allowed to negotiate with free agents and all that malarkey. If somebody is on the Preds radar and if somebody is in talks with the team and there's an agreement that, like, hey, when your situation is done with your team, you'll come on over and take over ours. Of course, they're going to start the hard work of figuring out the draft board and doing all the work that goes into figuring out the offseason. But, I think in the case of somebody that's for your front office, it is a little bit different than a coach or something like that if you're looking to hire them, in the sense that they might be able to hop at any point. I mean, yeah, you'd want to be there for the victory celebration and what have you, but it's not as if the general manager is doing much heavy lifting in the offseason outside of making sure you're cap compliant. So, there's always the possibility that somebody could jump early if their team's on a run. But overall, I think that the work will start much earlier than anyone anticipates if it looks like it's going to go in a certain direction.
Greg Wyshynski is with us from ESPN. So looking at some other storylines as the regular season wraps up, has Alex Ovechkin played his final NHL game?
He doesn't believe so. I was about 90% he was going to retire probably about a month ago. Before I covered their game against the Penguins on Sunday, I was probably about down to 80%. Now I'm at 60% that he's going to retire. On top of everything he said today about hoping that it's not his last game and the fact that his kids want him to come back, and obviously he's got some things to figure out insofar as family and whether he can do the things he needs to do as a 40-year-old to come back and get an understanding if the Capitals are going to improve themselves enough where it's worth coming back. But it's pretty clear the fire is still burning. It's pretty clear that he doesn't want to give up his life. And all of his actions this week, whether it's waving off the Penguins handshake line or treating these final games as anything but a spectacular farewell to his teammates and the fans, kind of indicates, I think, that the voice in the back of his head might be getting louder insofar as it not being his final season.
Hey, maybe he needs to do like Randy Orton and listen to the voices.
There's some things Randy Orton has done in the last month that I would not advise Ovechkin to do. But that's for the WrestleMania Laps fans guide that's currently on ESPN.com if you want to read it.
Hey, I want to ask you this. How cool is it to see, Chris Mason talked about this the other day, Buffalo in the playoffs and being good?
Oh, it's so cool. Listen, you guys remember that Buffalo used to be a city that would drive a national television rating. They are hockey mad there. And so to get the Sabres back in the playoffs, I think is going to be hugely beneficial for the excitement of the playoffs overall. But also as a long-suffering New York Jets fan, anytime a team can snap its historic drought for the postseason, I'm going to be very enthusiastic for that team. I'll tell you one thing that's really fun about those Sabres. So they break the longest drought in NHL history as far as between playoff appearances. And then Rasmus Ruotsalainen, who used to be a defenseman for Buffalo who plays for the Flyers, breaks the longest active drought for a player. He has never appeared in the playoffs after over, I think it's 860 games. So
wow.
He got stuck on the Sabres when they stunk, and then he goes to the Flyers, they stink, and then both the Sabres and the Flyers make the playoffs in the same season to snap both of their streaks. It's a really, really fun little bit of hockey symmetry right there.
Before we let you go, it is you just mentioned it with WrestleMania. So it's our annual WrestleMania predictions from Greg Wyshynski. But this year has got to be extra special because it's on the ESPN app. The first hour of night one will be on ESPN2. The first hour of night two will be on ESPN. So your network is obviously very involved with WWE and WrestleMania this year. What are you thinking going into this weekend?
The thing I'm most excited about is that Obafemi match against Lesnar.
Yes.
I feel like he's got a rocket strapped to his back to be the next big sensation in the WWE, and obviously this match is is poised to kind of make him a star or give him a huge obstacle that he'll still have to overcome. But his promo the other night, if you want to look it up, where he dueled with Paul Heyman on the mic, was the stuff that makes you go, oh, this guy's got it. Like, he's just got the total package of stardom. But as far as everything else, look, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had to write the preview for WrestleMania today. It was maybe one of the most challenging things I've had to write because I'm not exactly enamored with one of my coworkers being involved in a certain angle.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tick anybody off. I don't want to get anybody mad. I think I did a good job of subtly conveying some of the issues I have with the angle. But the great thing about wrestling is that as much as you could, be skeptical about the direction things have gone, sometimes by the end of the night, you're like, you know what? I was wrong. They actually had an idea of where they wanted to take this thing, and I'm hoping that's the case with the Orton Rhodes match on at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm so what is this that I'm curious to see where they're going to take. Like, I know there's a swerve somewhere, so that's what I think I'm excited about.
The thing that kills me is, like, you got to at least make it logical. And if the whole thing is like, I want to bring back the Attitude Era, and the guy that you're attacking is a guy who bleeds in every match and told The Rock to F off last year, I don't quite understand the logic.
Yeah.
Of making that guy the symbol of all the things that are wrong with the current product.
Yeah. So we'll see. And I'm also intrigued by the Punk and Roman Reigns match as well, which I believe is going to be the main event Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a feud where it started off as being kind of intriguing and hate-filled. And then as it's gotten closer to the match, they've added a lot of layers of sort of why they hate each other and jealousy and things like that. It's getting really interesting and multifaceted, which is sometimes how I think both these guys operate, where you start at the baseline of I hate you, I want to fight. And then by the time the match arrives, it becomes like a psychological drama. And that's kind of where we are with it right now.
Well, absolutely love that we can talk wrestling on SportsCenter. Us wrestling nerds have always wanted that. I think it's really, really cool. Greg, appreciate the time as always, and we will talk next week.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Greg Wyshynski joining us from ESPN, senior NHL writer, and also covers a little wrestling and WWE as well, presented by Old National Bank. Get old. We will come back and kind of recap. We've hit a lot of things today,
pal,
on the Chasing Big Joe show, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game, here on this Thursday at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Bar Lines.
Beautiful outside right now.
It is gorgeous.
Beautiful. Packed show today. A lot of fun. Football, rugby, boxing, hockey, soccer, table tennis, pickleball. I mean, we got it all
We
today.
have covered it all. And you know what? Not many shows could do that.
Not many shows could do that at all. It's complete nonsense.
I told you during the break, I'm like legit tired after just so many things.
A lot of
going on
Googling
today,
we had to do for this today.
No, but it was fun. And again, as I said at the top of the show, this is a phrase you taught me years ago. We're hyper local. We're hyper, but we're local.
Yep.
And that's why when these big events come to town, we want to highlight them because, they deserve the same, the men and women that are part of it deserve the same amount of pub as the Predators or the Titans or Cats or whatever,
Amen.
Nashville SC. So we certainly want to give them.
I can get draft analysis anywhere in the world, but I always want to know what's going on in my backyard. And my backyard is Nashville and Middle Tennessee. So we agreed this when we started this a couple of years ago, like hyper local takes priority over most everything else. And that includes the Preds, Titans, Nash, SC, all that stuff.
Yeah, they're local too.
That's part of our backyard. So I think people are more interested in what's happening around. Like this boxing league tomorrow night.
It's fascinating.
I'd go if I wasn't going to the National,
Cats.
the Cats up in Clarksville. I'd go that. And Dr. Crane, I found out that my tickets for Sunday are next to you at the rugby game.
Awesome.
So I will be having you tell me what's going on.
Don't eat my
So
food.
you guys carpool or?
We will not. I don't have an extra car seat. And Nick's got to sit in my car seat.
Oh, okay.
So sorry about that, buddy.
It's all right. I'll be driving. I just ask you not to eat my food. That's all I ask.
You can ask all you want. But usually when you ask, it makes him want to do it more.
So people that know me know I like to take food off people's plates.
You too.
So there's two sweet ladies over here having a meeting, and I said, "Are you gonna eat those wings?" They said, "No." So I ate the wings, and I about died during the segment with Greg Wyshynski because I couldn't breathe. So I learned a lesson today.
He came over here and he's like, doing like, like doing that. And I'm like, what is going on?
And they're laughing at me too. They're like, "We told you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but the wings were really good."
Yeah, the wings are good. I had mine were not spicy, but they were very good.
Man, oh man! So good times.
Nevada Josh says, "Great show today, guys. One of the best, and it's not even football season. Imagine that."
Yeah, right. Thank you, Nevada. I had to correct Dr. Crane yesterday. Nevada.
I heard Parker say Nevada today. Nevada.
Yep.
That's what it is.
I was corrected many times.
I was too.
I don't want our young friend to have to be corrected by the public, just by us.
Alan Franklin says, "One of your best shows. Love the diversity."
Thanks, Al.
So
what do you say, Al?
You can call me Al. So yeah, we had some fun today. Excited. Coming up next, though, what day is it? And celebrity birthdays. We'll do that coming up here on Chasing Big Joe at the Omni 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe 102.5 The Game on this Thursday. Predators will have their final game of the season tonight. Have a feeling we're going to see some youngins in there. As Andrew Burnett said this morning, they do have some guys that are banged up, and they have called up some young guys, including Aiden Fink, who was David Poyle's final draft pick a few years ago. So we'll see. We'll see what the lineup looks like in game 82 tonight, but could be interesting.
How's Milwaukee doing?
I'm going to be 100% honest
Please.
with you. I have no idea.
Okay. All right, then.
I have been focused on what's going on up here.
As you should be, pal.
So when I say up here, I mean, the NHL, but down geographically. But, yeah, I honestly don't know.
Fifth in the Central Division.
Thank you.
Out of
so
7
no
teams.
playoffs. Yeah. They will not make the playoffs. I had a feeling that was the case because a lot of them were called up. But
okay.
Anyway, with that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
Not trying to correct you, Chase, but they have an X next to their name, so I think they are going to make the playoffs.
Oh, are they in the
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right,
that's a
well,
good sign.
Dr. Crane, always correct me.
Sometimes the X means you're eliminated.
Well, at the bottom it says clinch
No, I
playoff
think-
position.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, good for them.
Well, on the other side of things, we'll go to the birthdays here in the list here. We have, not the pop-up, College Student Grief Awareness Day is today. Day of Mushrooms, Foursquare Day, Get to Know Your Customers Day, National DARE Day. That is an acronym for National Drug Abuse Resistance Education Day. National Bean Counters Day, National let's not do that. National Pizza Cake Day.
Oh, no. Go back. What we got?
No, we're not. National Eggs Benedict Day, National Healthcare Decisions Day, National High Five Day, National Librarian Day. There are a lot of days. I'll pick the funny ones. National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day.
That's
let's
funny.
see. Teach Your Daughter to Volunteer Day. Take Action for Librarians Day. And last but not least, World Semicolon Day.
That's important. We talked about that. Semicolon. Why that's important. Right?
Yep. You brought, yeah.
Because
we talked about it.
a period means that the story's over. Semicolon means your story's not finished. You got a lot to offer. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. Time for celebrity birthdays. Get these within 2 years. Our first birthday is unique. Bob Montgomery, today's his birthday. He played Major League Baseball. He was the last player in 1979 that did not wear a batting helmet to the plate. And he lives here in Nashville, Tennessee. Bob Montgomery was the last person to not wear a batting helmet to the plate in 1979, and he lives in Nashville. How old is Bob?
He is, I'm going to say he is 81.
80.
82. Good job, boys. Well done. Dr. Crane, how old is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? The player, not the pilot.
79.
74.
79, exactly.
Nice.
Chase McCabe, how old is Bill Belichick, who was born right here in Nashville, Tennessee?
74.
73.
74, exactly. Dr. Crane, how old is Major League Manager Bruce Bochy?
Bruce Bochy is 73.
74.
71. We're tied at 3. Chaser, how old is Steve Entman? He was the number 1 pick in the 1991 or 92 draft by the Colts.
I'm going to say 59.
Yay.
56, up 4-3. Dr. Crane, how old is Walt Williams, basketball player?
66.
He is 64.
56. Chaser, how old is tennis player Conchita Martinez?
32.
34.
54.
Nice.
Dr. Crane, how old is Jonathan Vilma?
44.
43.
44 exactly, up 6-3. Chaser, how old is actress Ellen Barkin?
I don't know who that is.
She was in, oh my gosh, the movie with Pacino where she had a stalker. She's been in 1,000 movies, and I can't think of any right now.
58.
59.
72. Dr. Crane, how old is Martin
Martin Lawrence?
Yep.
Martin Lawrence is 60 on the dot.
61.
61 exactly. Here he comes, folks. 6-5. Chaser, how old is from 2.5 Men? John Cryer.
62.
65.
61. We are tied at 6, folks. Here we go, lightning round. Dr. Crane, how old is singer crooner Bobby Vinton?
54.
74.
91. Chaser, how old is the lead singer of Midnight Oil, Peter Garrett?
63.
67.
73. Dr. Crane, how old is singer bass player Jason Sheff of Chicago? He took over when Peter Cetera left, and a guy who lives here in Nashville. Jason Sheff.
63.
71.
64. Dr. Crane's up 7-6. Chaser, how old is Jimmy Osmond? Jimmy Osmond.
63.
60.
63 exactly. Chase is up 8-7. All right, we got this. Dr. Crane, the lead singer of Soul Asylum, David Perner, Runaway Train, Never Coming Back. Big song in the 90s.
70.
65.
62. Chaser, actor Peter Billingsley from A Christmas Story, the young kid, the actor. The main character guy.
Yeah. 56.
60.
55. Chaser's up 9-7. Dr. Crane, how is actor Lucas Haas? He's in one of the greatest movies of all time called Witness. He's been in a bunch of other movies as well. Lucas Haas.
I'm going to go with 50.
61.
50. We're tied at 9. We got one birthday left. Chaser, how old is Broadway actor Kelly O'Hara? Kelly O'Hara. How old is Broadway actor Kelly O'Hara?
56.
I'm going to go with 59.
He or she, I don't know who it is 50. So we got a tie. I'm out of birthdays. But on this day, George the Animal Steel was born.
Oh, well.
Good job, boys. Tied at 9.
Thank you very much. That is going to do it for us here today at the Omni.
Great show. Thanks for all the input. Thanks for all the texts. We love you guys. Listen, we talked earlier about that semicolon, which means you got a lot left to offer, man. So when they go semicolon, think about your story's not over yet. So much to offer this world. We tell you all the time that when people think about you, they smile, they laugh. You light up a room when you walk in there. Never forget how many people love you and know that you're doing well more than anything else, right? So know that. Know how great our world is because you are here. Know how powerful you are. And after everything you've been through, you're still here. And we love it. You're still here. Know that we love you. And more importantly, more than anything else in this world, go to therapy and know that God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming your way next from Bridgestone Arena, the final Predators game of the year. They'll have you covered here on 102.5 The Game.